And we are live. Here we are.
Well, that was quick. That was a quick
La-di-da.
turnaround. I better have a sip of coffee.
Have some coffee. Have some refreshment. It is Michael Knight in New York. Vinnie, Mikey, and Vinnie here on a Wednesday. It's a Wednesday, folks.
We voted and we're proud of it.
You voted down there and you're proud of it.
Yep.
Election day yesterday in many places in this nation. And we'll get to that in just a second. I want to find out what happened in LA. We are here every Monday, Wednesday, Friday at in the 10-10 area. We used to say 10-10, but for whatever reason,
We still may say it.
we never
Might say
get
it.
there at 10-10.
It just can't be done.
Well-
I challenge anybody to get there at 10:10. It cannot be done.
It could be, but we work on retired time, Hawaii time. I don't know what you want to call it time, but so we're usually there a little bit after 10. So tune up your radios for that. Your radios, your computers, your devices. That's the popular term I think these days. Your devices. Keep your devices handy and ready to go, and we'll try to provide you for 1 hour some entertainment in your dull and boring day.
Well, I don't think we have too much entertainment to offer today. The elections, for the most part, offered no surprises, no upsets, no extraordinary events taking place that weren't expected. And it's funny how the media of the nation takes California as some sort of a afterthought, some sort of a late poll closing curiosity.
Well, the polls do
And
close late, Michael.
They do, and if you're in line, you get to vote. That's the rule. The end result last night was that the top two vote getters get to go to the runoff in November, and that is, in the case of California, it could change, but right now it looks like it's going to be one Republican and one Democrat, Xavier Becerra and Hilton, going for it. And the result at that time will probably be Becerra, given the amount of Democratic voters in the state. There are 40 million of us in California. 10 million of that 40 million are in LA County. And that's some big numbers that can't be matched anywhere. Can't be matched in Texas, can't be matched in Alaska, can't be matched in any grouping of European nations that you want to put together and use their total to compare. We are a big statement. And the fact that the West Coast votes last, that the results come in last, doesn't change the result. In fact, Xavier Becerra said last night something that I hadn't heard before. He said, California is America on fast forward. It happens here first, it happens here fastest, it happens here in greater profusion, it happens here with more money attached, more tomatoes attached. What do you need? We have it. We're making it. We're growing it. We're selling it. And
But we're taxing it too.
Definitely taxing. By the way, my last gas was $5.99.
Yeah.
You can
So
still
definitely taxing it.
You can still get gas for under $6, but you gotta know where to go. So I don't think anybody was surprised by the results in California and the.
Well, what about Steyer? I mean, I thought that that Steyer was
more of a factor.
Was more of a factor. I mean, it kind of shocked me that he was that he came in third. Didn't even crack as of this morning. Didn't crack a million votes. He's at 20% of the vote, 979,000 votes. I was kind of surprised. I thought that from people I talked to in California, I thought that he was the guy. But is there
He
a
didn't have very good debates, Vin. He didn't have as self-assured and as well-spoken as he was in his television spots. He was not nearly as on point or as outgoing or as convincing in his debate presence. Remember, he's not a politician.
right?
He can make a commercial, but it's harder to stand on your hind legs and compete with the opponents and do it effectively. And I thought that he turned in. I was disappointed in his performance during the debate and that I saw, and I was very disappointed in the whole field, to tell you the truth, given their performance at the debate level. Not convincing to me and disappointing, and that includes Becerra, who spent a lot of his time in the debate that I saw going toe to toe with the mayor from San Jose, Tom Maiman, and the end result was that they just sniped at each other, and it didn't look professional to me.
Well, it was interesting that I watched one of the debates, and we'll have to admit that the one debate that I watched, it didn't. I was bored with it.
Wasn't compelling. It was not.
Yeah. There was not. Nobody showed up with a step out moment. I mean, if you remember the debate from not the last presidential election, but the one before with Kamala Harris, she had this kind of step out moment with Joe Biden. Interestingly enough, that really, it made you stand up and take notice.
It was new territory.
Yeah, it was just that she took Biden on, and when I watched the one debate that I did watch, and again, I didn't pay as much attention to this as I guess I probably should have or could have until really late in the game. But Becerra, none of them, and it's interesting to me too. Who I find interesting in this thing is Katie Porter, who
Piper said,
who has and I was talking to my sister who lives in California yesterday about this. She has an unlikability quotient. She just has a thing. I don't know what it is about her. And I mean, for somebody who's trained, who's media savvy and trained and just all of this stuff that you'd expect her to be more on top of, more able to jump in and sway people over to her side, especially in a liberal state like California, because she's a liberal, and she has, I think, from what I've read about her, some decent ideas with social programs and so on and so forth. She realized that you can't give the state away, but you also have to take care of people. But yet there was something about her.
She did not translate as a viable, serious candidate.
Yeah. I mean, every thing that and 2 years ago, or I don't know, 3 years ago, this was somebody that they were talking about with potential to run for president someday.
Well, her performance in Congress, taking corporations to task, was very popular and put her on the map. She did not sustain that in any way or add to it in the ensuing years. And when she announced her candidacy for governor, it didn't seem to resonate. It wasn't taken seriously for whatever reason. And In fact, I heard someone this morning say California has to be ashamed for its lack of choices. 61 people ran for governor. The ballot contained 61 names, and this talking head wanted more people involved in the race. 61 will have to do.
Is it more people, or is it more qualified people, more people that you could look at and say this guy would make, or this woman or this person would make a great governor?
Plus, whoever gets elected as representatives from California, or the governor of California, or the mayor of Los Angeles, they've got a fight on their hands. They've got Donald Trump to war with for the next 2 years. Remember, Donald Trump took the opportunity of the Altadena fire and the Palisades fire and did nothing for the state of California.
Right.
He screwed the state of California. He dropped them out of his concern. Screw them. They had a fire. What do you want me to do about it? I'm only the president. Fuck those people. We don't help them. They're liberals. They never liked me. They don't want me to come to California, so I'm not coming in. I'm not sending money, and deal with it however you want, but I'm not helping you. You're not Americans. I'm the one who decides who gets help. And I say, California, you get nothing. And that's what he did. And so the fight that Gavin Newsom had to conduct unsuccessfully, and that the representatives of the victims of California had to conduct unsuccessfully, was top of mind with people. Who's going to fight? Who's going to help us? Who's going to work on restoring some of the financial support that the federal government would have normally given California if we had had a real president, but we didn't. We had Trump instead. So I think they needed a professional to bring those cases and to win those cases in court, where inevitably they're going to be decided.
And I saw I forget if it was a tweet or whatever yesterday, something that talked about Hilton, and the fact that if Hilton wins because he's a Republican, that it'll start the money flowing from Donald Trump. Is there any truth to that, or is that something that weighs on people's minds?
It's going to be hard from here on out to weigh the ability of truth to prevail over Donald Trump's will. I don't know what the truth is going to be about that. And I don't know that Donald Trump would, even if he promised, would support Hilton in a way that would be good for the state. Donald Trump is a vengeful son of a bitch, and he doesn't like California, and we return the favor. Although California showed itself last night to be not just a bastion of Democratic liberal votes. The central part of the state, although less populous than the coast, is a bastion for Republican stronghold. The farmers of California that feed the nation are Republican for the most part.
Right.
The populace of California that exerts its influence in cultural and scientific and political and social changes, not to mention the home for all the film and media corporations of America, all that coming from here. So if you want tomatoes for your spaghetti, that's going to come from a Republican in the Central Valley. You want a good show tonight on television, that's going to come from a Democrat in Hollywood. And that's the state of California for you. It is a melting pot in the truest sense of the American meaning of that phrase.
How much do you think the Republicanization of the entertainment industry, the Trump supportiveness of the entertainment industry, along with the Trump supportiveness of Silicon Valley, how much is that going to weigh into this election and either boost Hilton or boost Becerra. I mean, we know California's a traditionally liberal state. There are a gazillion Democratic voters, but when it comes down to what is going on now in politics, where we see the wiping out by Californians of Stephen Colbert, where we see the repeated attempts on Jimmy Kimmel, where we see what's going on with CBS News, the latest. We'll talk about that in a little bit.
Murder's Row.
How much is that piece of the voting bloc, that piece of support, going to change this and maybe open a door for Hilton as opposed to Becerra?
I don't know that the Republican Party and Donald Trump's pressures and the will of the Ellison family has done any favors for CBS. The CBS Evening News is a mess. 60 Minutes now is shot. The top contributors and producers are gone, fired in an ugly manner by ugly, vengeful people in an ugly public way. And that's not going to play well because the next head on the chopping block is CNN for the same reason, the same Ellison people, the same play to Donald Trump, the same effort to curry favor with the FCC and the powers that be. If they treat, and we think it's coming, if they treat CNN the way they treated CBS, it just means that people are going to be finding new places to get their news. It doesn't mean it's going to be great shakes for CNN. It doesn't mean that their numbers are going to double and that Donald Trump's going to be happy and CNN will be transformed and everyone will be pleased with the result. It's going to be ugly in public and not offering the results that they would have hoped for.
Well, I think the people have, many people, especially younger people, have moved their news consumption to non-traditional means. I mean, more people they say that many people get their information from YouTube. Many people get their information from Facebook. Many people get their information from different social media or streaming sources in strict competition with CBS News and with NBC News, with ABC News. That the old model of sitting down at 6 o'clock or 5 o'clock and watching the national news is dying, and that the corporate and the thing it's at CBS, I don't agree with it, but the thing at CBS is bringing these new people who have this experience in new media into the fold, and that the 60 Minutes model may be going away. Now, I don't agree with that because it's still the number one watched news program
was
in the country up until last week.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's got to be. I mean, what a mess they're making out of CBS.
And the idea that, hey, I invited you to dinner, you wouldn't come, so you're fucking fired. You're through here. You weren't nice to me, and I warned you, you're out. The situation at 60 Minutes right now is they don't have the anchors, personalities, and producers to do it for another week. I don't know what's in the can for this coming Sunday, but the staff that is going to put together any 60-minute show is no longer there. And it takes a city of people and technicians and producers and editors and fact checkers to do a 60-minute show. And the people who run CBS right now have no interest in that. That's just a burden. What a hell of a way to work. There's too many dots to put over the I, too many T's that need crossing. We're not going to do it that way. We're going to do it a simple way to make Donald Trump happy. Keep it simple. And anybody who wants to talk about journalistic integrity can just get out. We're not doing that.
Well,
We're not doing any of that.
I don't know that there is any such thing as journalistic integrity anymore. Do you? I mean,
yeah, I do. And there's a method to achieve it, and it can't be achieved with the way that they're going about it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is it doesn't count. I mean, I know what journalistic integrity is, but what I'm saying is that it's I don't know that it's being taught in college anymore. I don't know that in journalism school.
I think Columbia School of
Broadcasting.
Yes.
Yeah, that's probably the Ron Bailey School.
Bill Wade, I always thought was.
I just don't know. I just don't know what it's. It's now journalistic integrity is who can put the story up on social media first, even if it's not true. Unfortunately, now maybe I watch social media too much. I'll admit that I probably do. I've tried lately to stay off of social media a little bit, to back up a little bit, and not be on there all the time, because you can find yourself addicted to social media. And somebody with an addictive personality,
and it's not a rewarding experience.
No, it's not a healthy thing. It makes you stay in the house on beautiful days. And that's not a good thing. Any other interesting races that I know New Jersey had an interesting race with what was it, Tom Keene?
I guess the incredible shrinking man, the invisible representative, the guy who is possibly sick and dealing with a medical situation, but it's never said what it is. He's never made the comment. He's never said, I'm going to be sick for a while. Doctors say I'm probably going to get better. I'll be back. He's missed 100 votes in a row. He cannot be located, or his condition cannot be verified. It's a very curious situation, and I'm really curious about it. This one I will follow, because I want to know where this guy is and what happened to him, and why he's never said a word about what brought this on to the people who elected him, to his constituents, to his fellow members of Congress. And missing 100 votes is a major problem.
Yeah, shouldn't there be some explanation there if somebody's missing that many votes, if somebody's that absent?
Plus, Vinnie, we're talking about New Jersey, so this could be a Meadowland solution. He could be over there pushing up daisies with Jimmy Hoffa.
Yeah, I don't know that would be happening, but certainly interesting to try to figure out.
I can't think of another situation similar to that where somebody just disappears off the chart and gains so little interest from the public about this. Where the hell is he? What's he doing? How's he feeling?
Who was the oh crap? He was the presidential candidate. Remember, he was a presidential primary candidate, or was he a senator or something like that from the South, who disappeared a couple of years ago? Well, not a couple, more than that, but maybe 2 election cycles ago. Was it John Edwards that disappeared? And then I guess he was shacked up with some woman somewhere.
I know who you mean, and he had, like, she was pregnant, and his wife.
Yeah, it was a whole scandal. It was a big. It was a huge scandal.
And he was the handsome senator that was going to run for president and had the inside track and was considered considered a real player.
Well, speaking about CBS News, Scott Pelley was discharged yesterday after, as you talked about a moment ago, quite a contentious couple of days.
An ugly exchange of views.
Where he stood up and said what he thought.
We can't have that.
And you got to give him credit for that. I guess
because he was fired with cause. Can't he go to work tomorrow for CNN or MS Now? There's nothing preventing him from working, is there?
Well, no, he should be able to. Those non-competes don't hold the same water as they did in our day. I mean, they were
when the legal industry saw no problem with someone being fired and then being prevented from working in the same industry across town.
Yeah.
We can fire you, but also we can stop you from getting gainful employment with our competitors. And you can't do that anymore.
Very quickly. Yeah, it's it certainly was a what would you say? It's is that I think our fire bell is going off here. Anyway, yeah, our
fire alarm is going off.
Yeah, I think so. Hang on, Michael, hold down for a second. I want to just check this to me, see what's going on.
Well, I want to show this to Vinnie, but I'll show it to you first.
Yeah, show it to.
These are my lowrider stamps. And how can I get this so it looks, trying to get this into focus. You see here the forever stamps the post office is offering, and this subject is lowrider cars. You can see Thunderbirds. Looks like a classical Cadillac. Of course, the 58 Chevy, which is the crowning jewel of lowrider lore, and a few others. It doesn't. You get the general idea. The idea is not quite in focus. I apologize for that. But if you want to mail the gas bill today, here's a way to do it in style. A beautiful lowrider, artful examination of the great golden years of lowriding and the cars that made it possible. Here you have it. One of the odd things about the election yesterday in California was I'm sure if you're in another state other than California right now, you might be somewhat amazed or at least startled into reality that we had 61 names on the ballot for governor. And no matter how many times you've been to the voting booth or mail in your ballot, think back. Have you come up with another election that had 61 candidates for one office? The California ballot has room for all the candidates at once. So the Republican and the Democrat are side by side on the same ballot. You have to search them out, figure out who you're voting for, and fill in the circle on the mail-in ballot anyway. But 61 names for governor is got to be some sort of a record, even for California. And the other states that were conducting primaries yesterday, Montana, Iowa, New Jersey, and others, did not have 61 candidates for any single office. And that was a factor of the California ballot that may have confused some, but I think not. I think that when you were looking for your candidate to make the vote for the one you chose, the other 60 names on that ballot were not a distraction. I think it was more of a initiative. It gave the voter the initiative to go through the names, figure out who you were voting for, and make the correct choice for yourself. And that is a challenge when you're dealing with the largest state in the nation. It was mentioned last night that 1 out of 8 of every Americans is a Californian. There are 40 million. It's a guesstimate because we're a border state, and the number of individuals coming illegally to California changes from year to year. But we, in round numbers, say there's 40 million of us. In LA County, where I live, there's 10 million of us in one county, the largest county in the nation, the largest populace in any county in America. And they're active in terms of their participation politically. And that's why it's a death blow to anybody who's going to run against California, because California and the psychographic of the West Coast, that includes Oregon and Washington, is not a gimme. But for the most part, if you're not a Democrat running for office, national office, you're not going to get those 3 states. And there is a formula for ensuring that you do get those states. It has nothing to do with being politically conservative or politically liberal. It's you've got to translate your message to the whole I call it the psychographic of the West Coast, to get those votes. And it's a challenge, and it's absolutely necessary. And you can factor it in at the beginning and say, yeah, you got the West Coast, but you still can't win unless you come up with Florida or Ohio or Iowa or Maine. And that may be a factor. But the big numbers come from getting the state of California. And it's a challenge to play that game with 60 other candidates on the ballot. So I was proud of California for coming through and voting in great numbers. The general solution to what happened last night in the primary is that there will be a Democrat and a Republican running against each other for the general election in November. And if it's vote to vote, man to man, woman to woman, the Democrats are going to win because they've got the numbers. And that's not a prediction. That's just pretty much a fact of nature in California.
Yeah.
Hilton can get every vote that he can get and still not come close to winning.
Although, to be fair, and again, who knows what the mood of the country is going to be.
Well, it's politics. Why be fair?
From now, California has, strangely enough, elected Republican governors before.
Oh, absolutely. George Duke Majan, the mayor from San Diego, can't remember his name.
Yeah, Pete Murphy. Pete Wilson, excuse me. Right. Pete Wilson, mayor of San Diego. Arnold Schwarzenegger.
The mayor will be back.
Yeah, we're all Republicans. And yet, so that's why when I asked you the question before about the changing dynamic of the high-tech industry and the changing dynamic of the entertainment industry, I was interested in how many of those people are still stalwart Democratic voters, because that's where a large number of the Democratic vote comes from.
And a large number of those voters are disenfranchised, especially in the entertainment industry, which has taken some major hits, and 2 major strikes in the last 5 years decimated the industry, and all the support businesses that support the industry, set design, craft industries, the people who do the meals for the production, the AI influence on the industry. All these have been negatives, and the job headcount for the entertainment industry in LA is going down and is in direct conflict with the other industries like Atlanta and British Columbia and a number of other cities and states that have tax breaks for productions that come to do their major production there. I was just thinking about the successful show on Showtime. Damn, I can't think of it. Homeland did all its production in Carolina.
Yeah. I mean, there's big incentives. Pennsylvania, Pitt, one of the most popular shows on television, is filmed predominantly in Pittsburgh. Which has always had a strong movie industry.
And they play ball with the production companies to keep that production there.
Well, yeah, they do. And there's I can't remember his name, but there's a major producer who lives in Pittsburgh. And damn if I can't think of his name at the moment. But so he does a couple of he does films in Pittsburgh.
And when they need a special effects or a certain element of production, they don't have in Pittsburgh. They're just imported from LA. They'll bring them out there overnight, and they're part of the deal now.
Well, now I mean, these days, anybody with a powerful home computer can put the effects together. I mean, not anybody. I mean, you got to be obviously skilled in it, but yeah, it's the industry isn't. You don't go up and down La Cienega anymore and see the this company and that company and the Gold Star Studios and this and all the different companies that you used to see.
Well, Larry Ellison is going to take them all in the toilet. It won't be long, and that means Paramount and Warner Brothers and CNN and all these big brands that the industry is counted on to produce content are going to be in trouble, because you can't make your core business controlling the minds of the people who work for you, controlling the output, controlling their attitude, controlling their voting, controlling their emotions. You're taking entertainment, and the end result's not going to be entertainment. It's going to be just propaganda, and it's not going to be a pretty picture. The effort by the Ellison family to control the output and the thought process and the emotion of the people that work for them, that turn out the product of Warner Brothers and CNN, is a non-starter. It can't be achieved without great pain and an ugliness that we were just beginning to see. Ask Scott Pelley what it feels like, and he'll tell you in his letter. You should read his letter.
What's their end game, Michael? What are they? I mean,
mind control. Control your attitude. Control the output. Control your dreams. Control your.
But hopes. What does that get them? What does it get them if they can? If they. I mean, do they want people to be happy? Do they want them to feel enslaved? I mean, what or do they want them to be enslaved? I mean,
they want them to accept the truth as it's filtered through Larry Ellison and his family, to done at a rate and at a done to achieve the happiness of Donald Trump, as if it could be predicted what will please the great Führer.
Well, okay, so is that get rid of all the people that don't that they perceive as not belonging here? I mean, are we looking at a Nazi Germany situation?
Do you think Jimmy Kimmel's in trouble? Do you think Jimmy Kimmel's on the list of things that Donald Trump wants to do?
Night. I think every night he goes out there, he's in trouble. I think he knows it. Yeah, I think that they would if they didn't get the backlash, if they didn't think they would get the backlash that they would, or that they got the last time, if people didn't start pulling the plug on Disney products like they did the last time.
And did ABC see that coming? Did they know that people were going to start getting rid of their Disney Plus as a protest the way that they were treating Jimmy Kimmel?
I don't think so.
I don't think they did.
I don't
And
think they had any idea it was going to be.
Now we know that's exactly how to get back at them. And the same thing with Warner Brothers. If you have $125 million writing in a movie and that opening weekend is important, then your media buy is designed to bring back the profit in one big opening weekend, and you get bupkis. How long do you think that's going to take for them to figure it out?
Not that you made a bad movie, just that
we're not going to watch it.
Well, it just, this is what I wonder. And, listen, we're past, I think, what they're trying to control. I think they're trying to control our kids, the minds of 20 and 30-year-olds, the minds of their kids.
I just alter what the truth is. That used to be the truth. But have you seen the new truth that we've got?
Well, the truth is what they want it to be, isn't it? I mean, when it really comes down to it, I mean, we've seen this time and time again throughout history. The truth is what the people in power want it to be.
Correct.
And at times we fight it harder, and at times we don't. But we went through a period where the truth was laid bare a little bit more when we had the Obama administration, the Clinton administration, and we keep going back to people that don't want to tell us the truth. We went to a Bush administration. We went
who are at war with the truth and tell you that the press is the enemy of America, the enemy of freedom, the enemy of peace, and the enemy of contentment.
Yeah, it reminds me of the famous line in that movie with Jack Nicholson, "You can't stand the truth."
Right.
I'd like to make that decision myself, but again, I just wonder at times what they're, do they want to keep people so that they're struggling all the time? Is there a reason that this nation doesn't apply itself to things like healthcare, apply itself to things like daycare, apply itself to things like education, like other countries do? And look at how these other countries have passed us.
And there's other theories afoot, Vinnie, that say that this is a war on the First Amendment, that the freedoms guaranteed in the Bill of Rights are too broad, they're too liberal, they're too damaging to the dictator mentality. And freedom of the press is a nuisance. What if there was no freedom of the press? We wouldn't have any of these problems. We wouldn't have a problem with CNN. We could just say, this is the news, deal with it. That's all we've got tonight.
But how does that work out in other countries? I mean, I think about other countries like that on the surface look. I mean, how does that work out in Brazil? How does that work out in Colombia? How does that work out in Ecuador? How does it work out in just places in this hemisphere?
Well, pretty soon you realize that you've got the press subdued, but you need the army on your side to keep the people subdued.
Yeah. And you take off for Europe because it's freer.
Go to Hungary.
It's freer there than it is here. Now
they base their constitution on ours, but they're the ones using it, and we're the ones abusing it.
I mean, do you want a situation I mean, do they want a situation like Putin has in Russia? At times, I think that. At times, that when I hear these clowns in Congress and so on and so forth praising Putin, I wonder if that's what they want. If
Step
that's
one, you got to control the media. You have to have full control of the media. You can't have them coming up with alternative versions of everything. The president says it was like this. The New York Times says, no, it's like this. MS Now says, no, it looks like this. The gaggle of news producing websites in Washington, D.C. that have taken the place of major newspapers like the Washington Post and the LA Times, which have been purchased by oligarchs, and their output altered and their viewpoint subdued and their reliability shredded. All this is taking place right now to get rid of the First Amendment and to get rid of voters' rights for Black and brown people. We have no need for your vote. We don't care who you're interested in voting for. We don't like your candidates, and we don't want to have to deal with it. So we're going to fix it so you can't vote. Go on, make an effort. You'll never get to the polls. We'll never count your vote. You'll never be part of the process. That's the way we want it, and that's what we're headed towards. And that's why this election is so important, to fix what's been broken by Trump, to do it quickly before it's shredded. And the only tools we have at our disposal is the vote. And you saw that last night in places like Iowa and in places like New Jersey. You expected to see it in California, and that happened. But the end result nationwide is a more desperate and more interested look at the process of voting, because it's under fire and it's under scrutiny and it's damn near underwater.
Yeah, it's it just seems like it's the worst of all possible situations every day, and
all because of one guy who we can't stop because we don't have the votes.
Yeah, it is because of one guy, but it's also because of a whole lot of people who won't stand up to that guy.
True
enough. I mean, you only need a couple of Republicans to stand up and say this is ridiculous, to stand up for our country. But our country has taken a second seat to personal interest,
fear and loathing.
In many of these people. I mean, how many people do you need out of the Republican Party to start to fix the situation? 5, 4.
And who can you depend on? You never know what Lindsey Graham's going to say from day to day. He's with him. He's against him. He's up in the air.
He's pretty much with him. I mean, I count Lindsey Graham as one of his closest, his staunchest allies. Lindsey Graham's in it for Lindsey Graham. The more I see of that guy, the more I don't like him. I mean, I never did like him to begin with, but he just looks like he's somebody that's in it for. I mean, Lindsey Graham, from the stuff that I've seen, I mean, he's wanted this war with Iran for a long time. He's a hawk, man. He thinks that pushing the pressure on our allies, and it just seems that he just wants a war. He's like, this war is good for us. It gets us all behind the military.
The military, they couldn't foresee the closing of the Straits of Hormuz. How many generals does it take to close the Straits of Hormuz? One, and he's an Iranian.
It's pretty bizarre. It's pretty bizarre what this country is going through. And it's interesting to me that also now it's affecting sports, in that, by all accounts, all of the World Cup stuff is down. People are around the world, and I look at news in Canada, news in Australia, news in Europe, and by all accounts, there are a number of people that are not coming to the United States
Why would they?
Tourists that have said, I don't want to come to the United States.
As Yogi Berra said, include me out.
Yeah, they are afraid of getting harassed, getting tossed, getting locked up.
Getting beaten, getting arrested.
And when you add that to the crime problems that we have, many people are saying, why do I want to go there? Now, I don't know what the situation here in Seattle is. I know that prices have dropped on tickets considerably.
But not on gas and food and
No, but the prices for tickets were ridiculous. People were looking for $4,000 for a ticket, $6,000. Do you really have that kind of money to go to a soccer match?
and they thought it was going to be a spectacle, that everyone was going to be fighting for these tickets, that it was a seller's market. But in reality, people voted with their feet, as they do in times of uncertainty. And it's the whole World Cup thing has turned out to be a disappointment. And it's going to be very difficult to shake that persona
Well, I think
of
that,
failure.
we're in a time where people are feeling taken advantage of by rich people,
Corporate
by
pricing. Yeah.
by moneyed people. And I think it's hard for the average person, to afford some of the tickets. Now, I know there's some tickets that have been put out there for less money and so on and so forth, but I just, you just kind of feel that the hotels have jacked up their prices. The thing with New Jersey Transit, where they want to charge you $150 for a ticket to the train from Penn Station to the soccer stadium, the MetLife Arena.
Meadowlands.
I mean, it's really kind of when governments get involved in that kind of stuff. When you see governments get greedy like that, that kind of I mean, but people show up for it. I remember our good friend, the Gas Man, who just had a birthday not long ago.
Happy birthday, Mike has to know.
But he's always talked about the coming sports revolution and how people were going to backlash against the high prices in sports. And where was the breaking point? Well, it's interesting because I look at the World Cup and I see what they're trying to charge and I see what they're trying to do, and I see people paying it, and I go, how do you put that kind of money together for tickets like that? How do you put that kind of money together and feel like it's okay to spend $4,000 a ticket to take you obviously don't take your family. I mean, I don't know. I just think it's
I think it's an example of bad timing. The war is part of it. The elections part of it. The attitude of America toward the rest of the world is a big part of it. And the feeling that the average ticket holder from Liverpool thinking about coming to America, the airfare and the amount of gas it takes to fuel up that jet to get from Heathrow to LAX or to JFK is going to cost a fortune, plus the hotel that's waiting for you and all the extras. You know what it's like to try and get across town in New York without spending a dollar. Try that sometime. It can't be done.
You got to walk, man. You got to walk. And,
And look for somebody selling dollar slices.
Yeah, well, you got to bet you got a pretty good chance of finding nobody selling. Well, I was just talking to somebody in New York the other day, and they were telling me that there are a couple of dollar slice places still. They're harder to find than they used to be.
Look for the line.
Maybe they're $2 slice places now, but I mean, when the average slice is $7, $8, which is still unbelievable to me. Jeez, it's crazy. Absolutely crazy to think that a slice of
It
pizza
doesn't make
costs
sense to
$7.
travel and participate financially in a scheme like that. It's insane.
And then on top of it, you have FIFA, those wonderful people who decided that the Ticketmaster idea that everybody hates was so good that they try it themselves, dynamic pricing for the seats, so that when you got a chance to get on the platform to buy tickets, the prices went up as you were sitting there. So it's crazy. All right, a couple of minutes left. We should talk about the Mets.
What did the Mets do?
Well, they just lost 2 games to the Mariners. Got a third game today. The team is a hot mess.
And you voted with your feet this time. You didn't go.
I haven't gone. And I'm kind of feeling bad about it. But it's
like the World Cup. I voted with my feet.
Well, no, you know what, Michael? To be honest with you, I think everybody knows I have some health issues going on, and so it takes a lot for me to get to the ballpark these days. It's not just jump in a car and run down there. It's jump in a car and run down there. It's $50 to park your car if you can't park in the street. It's if you take the light rail down, it's still a walk from the station to the stadium. And so it's
not much fun
until I feel healthier. It's just not it's not in the cards right now.
Just takes all the fun out of it.
And to go and watch a team, and again, I get immense. It's funny because I love the Mariners, and I really it doesn't bother me that they're beating the Mets, and that's maybe the craziest thing about it all is that
you
know what a Mets fan I am. Everybody knows that knows me knows what a Mets fan I am, and yet I'm sitting here and I'm like going because the Mariners are a team that is showing that they want it. The Mets are a team that looks like they're playing out the string already in June. Now maybe that'll change. Maybe the Mets will find the magic formula. Maybe they'll find the key. Maybe they'll get turned on. I know injuries have been a bad part of it, and I think that losing some of the players, getting rid of some of the players that they got rid of, it's a bad move.
Didn't pay off.
I think getting rid of Pete Alonso is a bad move for this team, for the Mets team. But you know what? The Mariners are doing it with people that you've never heard of before. Guys with names like Wisdom. All of a sudden they're on. It was funny. I ran across a clip on social media, I don't know, 2 weeks ago or something, of one of the sports guys in town here, Softy, just railing about Dan Wilson and how he doesn't know how to manage and how he should be fired. Same old act from 20 years ago. It's the same old shit that you heard 20 years ago. Fire this guy, fire that guy. It's the meat and potatoes of sports radio because it gets people to pay attention
for that one moment.
But Dan Wilson has turned around and done a spectacular job as manager of this team. He's pushed the right buttons. He's put the right people in the right places. Does it work all the time? No. But nothing works all the time.
Not in
Nobody's right
sports.
100% of the time. But he certainly has I don't know. I never thought I would say this, but I hope they beat the Mets again today. I think the Mets need a long, hard look at themselves. I think the Mets need to be, I want to see the Mariners win. I mean, I want to see the Mets win too, but let them go their separate ways and win against other teams. And it's always funny because this is the first time I ever feel like that, as opposed to, that the Mets got to come in here and beat the Mariners for 3. They
Is it
just
a
look
full
like a
house?
team. Yeah, it looks like it's been pretty full, yeah. So let's hope it's a day game today. Let's hope the Mariners take care of business. I feel horrible for saying it. It depresses me. When the Mariners lose like they do, it depresses me.
Well, I had a similar story, and the Giants offer no inspiration to anybody right now. They just can't see, they can't put together 2 games. They can't put together a 3-run inning. They just don't know how to play ball. They don't have the stick-to-itiveness. They don't hit the ball. They don't field the ball. They don't beat you. They lose. They lose reliably and regularly. And interesting story in my particular family, where we have been Giants fans all this time, and the other side of our family are Red Sox fans. Is that my grandson, growing up here in LA, is naturally a Dodger fan. All his kids at school are Dodger fans. He went to his first baseball game with his dad and a bunch of kids from his baseball team, and they saw the Dodgers, and they bought Dodger hats and they bought Dodger shirts and they cheered for the Dodgers. And they're
How did you get through that? That's like a
well,
psychological thing.
my daughter posted it and said, "My dad's going to faint." So I called her back and I said, "I was sitting on the couch, so I did faint, but I didn't hurt myself." And there's nothing you can do about it. It doesn't anger me. I mean, I hate the Dodgers. That's all. That's a fact, and that's never going to change. But this kid can't hate the Dodgers. He every day he goes to school and he plays on 2 different teams, and all his friends are Dodger fans, because how could you not be a Dodger fan living in LA? They win everything. They got Shohei Ohtani. They got a winning. If one of their pitchers goes down, they get another pitcher, and he starts and he wins. They're just a winning ball club. They spend a fortune to do it, but that's what it costs to win every game. That's what it costs to play for the World Series every year. It costs a fortune, because that's what it's like. It's expensive to win.
Well, the Mets have spent a fortune too, and they got jack for it. They got nothing. They got the second highest payroll in baseball, and they got nothing. They're a last place team, and they don't look like they want to be anything but a last place team. And
it's got to come from the front office. There's got to be some connection between the two.
I can't root for that. I can't. When I see a team like the Mariners, and I see that they're trying, and I see that they don't have all the stars that the Mets have, but yet
they clawed their way to first place.
They were faced with a bad situation earlier in the season, and they've turned it around. I don't know if it'll last all season or not, but there's no reason for me to think it should. There's no reason for me to think that they're going to fail. Their stars are getting hot at a good time, and
if you don't win these games, you can't sell it to a 7-year-old. Hey, what about the Giants? This family roots for the Giants. The Giants stink. What about the Red Sox? Everybody, this family has rooted for the Red Sox for generations. The Red Sox can't win.
Well,
what are you going to do?
I mean,
I live in LA.
You grow up, right?
Yeah, you're a Dodger fan because you live in LA. I completely understand it.
If your daughter would have moved to Northern California, maybe you would have had a shot.
Sorry.
But, being close to family is the most important thing, right?
That's right. Even when it comes to letting the Dodger blue come in. His bedroom is going to be painted. He wants his bedroom painted Dodger blue.
Well, the good thing is, Michael, I don't think we're going to see you in a Dodgers jacket anytime soon.
Not going to happen.
Just like you won't see me in a Yankees shirt anytime, a Yankees thing. Although I do have a Pirates jersey that I like to wear because I'm intrigued with the Pirates this year. They're another scrappy ball club.
Whose jersey is it? Does it have a number on it?
No, it's just a plain jersey with no number. I never wear numbers on my jerseys. Very rarely. I have in my jersey collection. I have an old Tom Seaver jersey that has 41. Obviously 41 on it, and an old Tug McGraw jersey that has 45 on it.
That's the jersey I wore on my run.
Yeah, I still have that jersey. I still have it. Never get rid of that thing.
I proudly sweated it up coming from Christie Field back to KKCY.
That was a beautiful run. All right, Michael, what do you say we get together and do this Friday? Hopefully I'll be in a little better, just feel a little more, a little better.
Don't forget about your First Amendment rights to have the truth brought to you by the news. It used to be something that every radio station would do without any problem. They got their sources from UPI and Associated Press. But now, to keep their listeners happy, they will be glad to slant the news to make you listen to the crap, make you listen to the lies and the suppositions and the propaganda. You don't know how easy it is to fall for that. So
truth shall set you free.
Get yourself some truth today.
Michael.
All right, Vin.
See you on Friday. If the Lord's willing, the creek don't rise. Peace.
And I guess the apartment's not on fire?
No. If it would have been fire, you would have had to do the rest of the show by yourself. I would have been gone.
You have to eat your lunch all by yourself.
I stay out of. I'm smart enough to hopefully stay out of fires.
All right, I'll see you Friday, Vin.
Peace, love, and Manischewitz, Michael. Take care of yourself.
It's quite a wine. Enjoy some today. See you.
All right. See you.